Hey, I'm Stephanie, and it's time to stumble into style. Welcome to Signature Style Sunday, my weekly web series in which I document my attempt to distill personality into style using mainly the makeup, clothing, and accessories I already own. Over the past couple of weeks, I've been deviating slightly from my style journey and making style-adjacent content. And the reason for that was mainly that life has been very hectic around here. If you've been following me for a while, you already know that Printergate and Chairgate have happened. Things have been stressful at work, so I didn't really have a lot of extra energy to devote to my style journey. But I was still kind of interested in it. And so that's why, I was kind of trying to do content that would kind of be in parallel, but that would also line up with my mental health needs. So that was good. But I think the little energy I had was being devoted to my one piece per week project. I did make a video about that, which I'll link in the show notes and in the cards just in case you'd like to watch it. But the basic gist of it is that I'm choosing one item from my wardrobe every week and I'm styling it 5 different ways. Monday through Friday, I'm posting it over on Instagram. It's been fun because it's teaching me a lot about the things that I own, how I like to pair them. It's getting me out of my comfort zone just a little bit by forcing me to pair items together that I don't normally do. And so it's been very interesting, but it's also been very internal because the only input I have is like from myself and my own closet. And so this week I wanted to try to get some balance and look outward. I'm going to take a look at some 2022 spring style trends out there. And what I'd like to do is like a mental exercise where I look at those trends and then I try to open up my closet in my mind and try to think of items that I could use that I already own to kind of jump on board with these trend trains. So if that sounds interesting, let's go. My method of trying to discern the spring trends wasn't super official. I just glanced over a couple of articles really briefly, but for the most part, I just decided to go window shopping virtually at one of my favorite online stores. I was just on the Net-a-Porter app and I just thought I'd see what's new, what's going on, and that's how I did it. The first trend that I noticed was a lot of green. And it seems to be like all shades, but for the most part, it's like a bright, kind of slightly yellowy, vibrant spring green. Now, I have a lot of green, but most of it's kind of olivey like this or like this color here. So, I can jump on the trend with this, but one of the first things that came to mind when I saw this color is actually a sweatshirt that I've had for years and years and years. I got it from this really cool little pop-up store in Berlin. They take secondhand clothing, like, pre-loved items, and they turn it into Berlin paraphernalia. So that's definitely one of the things that I will be breaking out this year, not only because it's green, but also because loungewear is still very in. A lot of people have been working from home for the past 2 years, enjoying the benefits of that by wearing loungewear and sweatsuits and streetwear. And that trend, luckily, is still in full swing. So I'll get a lot of use out of that green sweatshirt. But I've also got a lot of other really comfy loungewear, streetwear stuff that I can get use out of. One item that comes to mind from my closet is a hoodie dress from Diesel. At first glance, it's just a normal black hoodie, but it has some silver detailing that's pretty cool, especially the zippers down the arms. If I want to, I can completely unzip the arms of this hoodie, and all of a sudden, I've got like a sleeveless dress. And this sort of hoodie was always perfect for me when I was traveling, because sometimes, you'd be traveling from a cold climate to a warm one, so you could wear this black hoodie, which means it's not going to show dirt, so when, the person next to you on the plane spills coffee on you, it doesn't show up. But the other really cool thing about it is then once you land and you're in a warmer place, you could just unzip the sleeves and all of a sudden you've got your own like personal air conditioning. So I always loved this hoodie for that, but I just like it in general. So this is a great opportunity for me to wear this and like be fully on trend. And I also have a couple of sweatsuits from Aviator Nation. They're super soft, super comfy, and apparently super in. So I'm definitely going to enjoy wearing those. Another trend I've been noticing is the more is more way of thinking when it comes to patterns. Now, this is something I've been a fan of for as long as I can think, really. I mean, even in high school, I was pairing very vivid, bright, multicolored tie-dyes with plaid flannel shirts. So like I've always been into the chaos when it comes to patterns. And I even did it without knowing it was a trend right now. Last week for my one piece per week project, I paired a leopard print dress with a plaid duster. So I'm really into this trend and I'm glad to see it. And it's not just in pairing things. I've noticed it's within the prints themselves. For example, I saw this gorgeous dress and robe and bathing suit all in the same pattern from Norma Kamali. Oh my gosh, it kind of makes me drool a little bit when I think about it. I was like, oh, if I wasn't on a no-buy, wow, my bank account would be in danger because that robe, so pretty. I also saw a beautiful sweater, and the pattern of the sweater itself wasn't super busy, but there were just a lot of different colors in the yarn, and there was a ton of fringe, and that sort of thing just, ooh, yeah. I just loved it. But I think that's what inspired me to wear this scarf today. This is actually a gift from my mother. She made it herself. It was a Christmas gift a couple of years ago, and I call it my Gucci scarf because it makes me feel good and Gucci whenever I wear it. But basically, it's got pockets. Anything with pockets, I'm a fan of. But it's got this really beautiful kind of multicolored yarn all down the sides, and then it's got tons of fringe. And so I'm just a huge fan of this scarf. And so I'm really glad I saw that sweater because even though it is kind of making me lust after it, the reality is I can satisfy that lust with something I already have. And it's something handmade by my mom. And what's better than that? Speaking of things that my mom made that I absolutely love that are totally on trend, we get to the trend of things that have lots of holes in them. I've noticed a lot of ripped looking sweaters, where the knit is so loose that it almost looks like it's falling apart. And my mom made me a sweater several years ago that I've always loved. It's a blue material. It's very loose, very slouchy. And you can see the knit is just very loose. And I love that sweater. I loved it so much that she made me a second one in black. And it is so soft. It is so comfy. And now it is so on trend. So I can't wait to get a lot of use out of those sweaters. And the thing is, because they have so many holes in them, they'll not only be good for spring, but they're also excellent summer wear. Speaking of summer, let's come to the last trend I'm going to talk about today, and that is florals. But not just floral prints, which are still in, but they're taking it to the next level, quite literally, by making them 3D florals. So either appliques or embroidery, or actually having the flowers kind of be a woven part of the fabric. So this is one thing that I thought of immediately. It's just a little flower brooch, and it actually came from, I think it was an old vintage sweater. I'm not sure if it was my aunt's or my mother's, but nobody liked the sweater. But as we were giving the sweater away, I just thought, maybe I'll take the little flower. And I didn't even know if I was ever going to wear it, but I just thought, I just had a feeling maybe I should take it. So now is the perfect time to try this out. I can put it on anything because it's just a brooch, and I can see if I like it. And it's on trend. So it's the perfect time to try that sort of thing. Plus it's green. So it's perfectly on trend. But not only do I have that, I have a denim jacket that's very ripped. So it's got the holes in it from, other trends we've talked about today. And it has embroidered flowers on it. So that's kind of the 3D sort of thing. I have another jacket from my mother that has silk embroidered flowers on it. But the crowning piece that I have for this trend is actually super special, so it has to be worn. And that is a handmade vintage jacket that my grandmother sewed by hand. And its fabric is literally woven silk to look like flowers. It doesn't get more on trend than that. And my grandmother made it. So that's something super cool that I have the opportunity to not only wear and enjoy, but also be totally on trend with. So that's something that's definitely going to be broken out this spring. Now, this little exercise could have gone one of two ways today. I am on a low buy, so virtual window shopping could have been a very tempting thing for me. But I think what saved me was from the very beginning of this exercise, I knew that my goal was to find items in my own closet that I could use to realize the current trends. And so even now, as I'm thinking about that beautiful robe and that mouth-watering sweater, and all of the other beautiful things that I saw online, I'm also at the same time thinking about the beautiful things that I have. This mouth-watering scarf, that beautiful handmade vintage piece from my grandmother, my favorite souvenir from my time living in Berlin. Like all of these things that bring me so much joy that I already have. I don't have to go in search of them. I don't have to use my energy and my money trying to acquire things to go follow this trend. I have them already. And so it's been a really exciting day because I feel like I haven't bought anything, but I have a bunch of stuff to be excited about and to be excited about wearing it and maybe putting it in a new context and thinking about it as like a super trendy, super cool thing, like something that someone else would go out and buy to follow the trend. I already have. And I bet most of us have things in our closets that follow the trend. So I hope that this video inspired you to maybe look in your own closet and see maybe if there's something in there that is particularly relevant right now that you haven't worn in a while that you might actually really enjoy. And that, my friends, is that. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. I hope I was able to inspire you to enjoy what you already have. If you liked this video and you haven't subscribed yet, then perhaps consider subscribing to see more content like this. And other than that, I hope that we can all remember that even stumbling can be a form of moving forward. So let's stumble in style.